So Arcane Season 2 came out almost a month ago, and after watching it, I was super inspired to create some sort of Arcane style environment scene or something just relatively similar to Arcane. So I decided to create an environment in Blender. Now this is the final render that I ended up with, and it took me about an entire month to create, which I know is a lot of time, and it wouldn't have taken that much time, but I was actually busy with my exams, so I didn't have that much time to work on it. Otherwise, I could have just completed it in a week or in about 10 days. So yeah, the entire process of creating this final render, I have divided this into two parts, and this is going to be the first part of the series. And in this video, I'm going to share the modeling process of how I model the entire scene. And in the second part, I will share the process of how I made the textures and just adding some small details here and there. So in this video, I'm going to share the modeling process of how I created the entire scene. So I started off by blocking out the basic shapes of the buildings and adding some other details like adding crates, creating pipes, and just trying to capture that overall steampunk slash undercity kind of vibe of the city. I also took some inspiration from the reference board and created some small details like adding a table and just extruding out some part of the buildings and extruding in some parts, creating some and just adding some random stuff to make the scene look more complex. Now, one of the main issues in this modeling process was trying to capture the lighting technique of Arcane, which was at first kind of difficult for me to understand how they were making the lighting work. But after spending some time just studying the environment and taking a look at some different references, I finally understood how they make the lighting work. So the technique I discovered was that they were mainly using three different layers: one for the background, one for the midground, and one for the foreground. And they were using colors that were either opposite on the color wheel, or they were analogous colors which are next to each other on the color wheel. And they were using these colors to create a smooth transition between the colors, and also using them to separate the foreground and background to draw the viewer's eyes toward the focal point of the scene, which you will see how I recreated that in Blender in this process as we continue on with the video. So yeah, that's basically the overview of the entire process of creating this environment model. You will see all of the other process of how I added some more details and some modeling stuff I did in the rest of the video.